Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are getting ready to talk with author Vickie L. Evans. How are you, Vickie?
I am great. How are you, Kim?
I'm doing great. I feel like I missed you because we skipped, was it a week or two?
Oh,
What
it's
happened?
been 2 weeks since we last chat.
Yeah, it's been a
Yeah,
big, big distance, like a big gap in time. And when we were talking backstage about what topic we were going to cover tonight, I've read the book like twice already. So I was like, oh man, I got all these pages folded. So I had to go back. I was like, okay, here we go. Whose label are we wearing? That's what we're going to be talking about tonight. So
yes.
I'm excited about it. So tell us about your 2 week stint. What's been going on with you?
Uh, First, I went to Washington, D.C. for a conference that was absolutely wonderful. It dealt with elderly and the abuse that they
Okay.
face in different aspects of their lives. So it was great. I learned a lot about just that type of elderly abuse and how to get them to tell their story. So I found myself in there because storytelling is, of course, one of my expertise, and they're using storytelling to encourage elders to tell their story,
Wow.
especially if they're being abused. So
That's really interesting and
yeah.
enlightening. How did you what did you learn? At least tell us at least one or two tips.
Well, I
Something that
mean, the main thing is the storytelling, and just being aware of what they're experiencing, even from the nursing home perspective. Always be engaged, always communicate. It was a wonderful conference,
it
and I
sounds
think
like it. So
it
these
was.
are is this a conference for caregivers or for
No,
everything?
my other expertise is domestic violence, so I get all these emails, of all the different conferences, whether they're local or international. So this was one that I received. It's called Stages. Um,
Wow. Okay.
yeah, and I received that, and I was intrigued, and I said, "Oh, I want to go." So I mean, it was wonderful. I even found, got a little assistance to go,
Okay.
so it was great.
That is a blessing. And one of the Freestyle Fridays, just for you all that don't know, but Vickie L. Evans, in addition to the thousands of hats that she wears, she's also a Freestyle Friday expert on the Kim Jacobs show. So we have about 20 or so experts and they rotate through and come in periodically. So maybe one of the future times that you come in, wear the hat of a elderly abuse and violence and how that would work because you probably could educate our audience on that. That'd be really good.
Absolutely.
Please.
So
All right.
yeah, it's been a busy 2 weeks. And then I had my own. I had a 10-minute play festival last weekend, so I've been on the go for 2 weeks, and,
It has been,
and going out of town next week. So it's
I
been a real
know.
busy year.
You have a friend that had her parent loved one
Yes,
passed away. So I just want to give my condolences to you and to your
thank you,
friend as well. Yes.
thank you.
Wow. You have been busy for sure.
Yes, it's
You know what? The
been.
same here, Vickie. I've been like on a roller coaster whirlwind. I've had my birthday and at the end of May, then I had my son's birthday, my mother-in-law's birthday. She turned 80 and everybody was in celebrating her. I didn't get to go. So you know, devastation. Oh my gosh. But everybody's been celebrating her and they're kind of celebrating her all month long. And then
Right.
I've had my son's birthday. Then my other son had his Make-A-Wish trip, and that happened. So we were able to go and have his Make-A-Wish come true. And I'll be sharing a lot more about that because he got the chance
Absolutely.
to meet Robert F. Smith in New York City, which was an incredible experience. Then my great aunt turned 94 in Florida. And like you say, getting some different assistance and things, I was able to be there and very honored to be able to celebrate with her. She was the first Black female to walk into the school system and start serve as a teacher and educator, the
Wow.
very first one ever in her city. And in times of segregation, when they went into that, we're going to segregate the schools and desegregate the schools and
Desegregate. Yeah.
desegregate the
Well,
schools.
I'm
Then
very
they would
familiar with
segregate.
that because I was the first Black student to desegregate
Desegregate.
my elementary school. So very,
Well, that was like, I would say, torture in a way for her. It was really a overwhelming experience hearing some of her story. But she's a pioneer and then a Delta for 75 years. So I'll be talking about more about that too. So I've been on a roller coaster ride too. So all right, all right. So today we are going to be talking about some things as you all are coming in. Ask your questions, share any comments, and just let us know who you are, where you're coming in from, so we can just shout you out and put your comments up. So, Vickie, tell everybody about you being an author first and how many books you've written.
oh, okay. Well, I've been an author officially since 2005. And I've written 4 books: The Art of Forgiving, Know Your Worth, Overcoming the Dragon of Low Self-Esteem. Let's see, what's the third one? Oh,
I'm gonna pull
how
them up.
how to produce an award-winning play the non-conventional way. And the latest one is it's an anthology written with 3 other ladies, called Gracefully Broken. And so, yeah, it's been a journey. Still writing books, writing plays. I also have another play that will uh, eventually get out there.
It sure
And I
will.
had the opportunity to do something this past weekend that I've never done before, and that was act. So I wrote a one woman's piece about my mom's battle with dementia called I Remember. So I got a chance to perform for the first time. And
Oh,
I have a real big new, a wonderful perspective on acting, because I was like, I teach people how to act, but to actually get out there and do it myself, whew, that's a challenge.
it's a whole thing, right? That's like
Yes,
me getting out of the
absolutely.
car and coming in and auditioning because my son was acting. I was like, whoa, I have a lot of respect for all of these actors and actresses in
Right.
here.
Trying
A
to
whole lot.
remember those lines, I thought, oh my God, this is a lot. Even though I wrote it, I still had, challenge remembering those lines. So
That's amazing. So let's go back over the books again as I scroll up so people know. You can go to VickieLEvans.com and get an autographed copy of any of these books. The first one here is Gracefully. Tell them about it.
Gracefully Broken. It's a story of 4 different ladies and the life challenges that they had experienced and how they overcame them.
Awesome. Oh, I forgot about that. The book release party.
Oh yeah. So you were also my moderator, my host for my book release party for Gracefully Broken. It was such a
That was
fun
fun.
time. All of the ladies just had so much fun. I had a hat on, and so did Kel's mom.
That's
So we was
my mama. She was right in her element.
so we had a great time.
And so you say how to produce. Go ahead, tell everybody how to
How to
produce them.
produce an award-winning play the non-conventional way. Um I'm I had the opportunity, and I think it was a blessing for me to learn how to produce plays through I call it trial and error. I did not have an educational background, and I still don't, in playwriting. So all my experience came from just getting out there doing it. And that's
Right.
why I'm always encouraging people, if you have a dream, there's no excuse. Just get out there, know your purpose, and get out there and start. Yes, you're going to bump your head a few times. I did. And so I shared that in that book.
That's awesome. Okay, and what is the next one? The one we're talking about tonight, which
Yeah, know
is
your worth. Know your worth is a journey of self discovery. Is finding your uh, through my stories, through my journey, through my tidbits of wisdom that I've learned over the years. I share that with you so that you are understanding the importance of knowing who you are and why you're here, and defining your purpose and walking in your purpose.
yeah,
It has so much. It is so rich in wisdom, and mostly, well, it's my experience, and I just shared that with you.
Absolutely.
And this is my first book, my very first book. And there's so much history in this first book of me going out there saying I'm going to write this book. And it's also a memoir. It's a self-help memoir on the importance of forgiving in
Yeah.
every aspect of your life. It is important to be able to forgive, not just forgive, but to move past the pain. And so I shared that in this book. This book right here like I said, is history because that was my first time self-publishing because I kept bumping my head trying to get it published through other channels. And I learned the publishing business and was able to start my own publishing company because I learned from that book of how
I'm so proud and grateful that God allowed you to learn from that experience and to produce 4 additional books and one that's the collaborating book that you did as well. I think that it's a blessing to understand the art of forgiving. And
yes.
I have all of your books and they have tremendously blessed my life. So I just
Oh,
thank you for
thank you.
allowing God to
Thank you.
minister through you through written word.
Mhm.
So
Thank you.
all right. So tonight we're going to continue our conversation of know your worth, overcoming the dragon of low self-esteem. If you don't have a copy of the book, don't worry. We're going through the chapters and you're going to have a great experience. But we also want you to get your own autographed copy because it's almost like a blueprint that you'll be able to go back. I've read
Yeah,
the book several times, and then as you can see, it's just a bunch of like folded back pages, and you can take notes.
I do it too.
You do
My
it too?
own book.
Good.
I have to use it as my, because there are times when I have down days and I have to go back to that book and just say, okay, I have to find my center here
That's right.
because we get off course. And that's why it's called overcoming the dragon because it's a continuous process. We are always evolving, always trying to be the better version of ourselves than we were yesterday. So I have to go back and pick the book up sometimes too.
Good. I love this. Sometimes we get off course, but we're always evolving. And these are tips. And you can type any of the tips that you hear Vickie L. Evans say tonight. Just type them in the comments section because someone else that will be watching the replay will be blessed by you taking the notes that you're sharing. So please make sure you capture the notes that would bless you later as well when you're going back to study. All right. So tonight, the chapter that we're talking from is on page 86. Tell everybody what that is.
Whose label are you wearing? And before, every time I like to set up what we're going to talk about.
I
So
know
I'm
you
going
have
to
an
use,
analogy. Come on.
yeah, yeah, I have an analogy. When I go out and talk to the young people, the students, the young ladies at different schools or workshops or whatnot, when I get to this chapter, I always start off with this example. And I'm just going to go straight to that example right now. I had a whole lot of questions I wanted to ask you first. But I think I'm going to go straight to the example, and I think then we can have a discussion
Okay.
based on the example. So first, I want to start off, and I want to show you this can. So let me turn it around. What does that say?
Somebody type that in the comment section. What does it say? Apple sauce. Type
Yeah,
applesauce.
right. So that when we talk about labels, this identifies what's in this can, right? And even when I looked up the definition um, of labels via Merriam-Webster, it said 3 times. He had about 4 different definition, but each time it said identification.
Mm,
I did so labels identify. So this is applesauce, right? All
yes.
right. I don't Facebook user. Thank you. I don't know who you are, but okay. So when you open this can, what do you expect to see?
You expect to see some smooth applesauce. That's what you expect.
Sweet, all of that, right? All the characteristics of applesauce. So I'm gonna open the can for you. Can I open it?
Absolutely. That's why I put you front and center.
All right, I'm gonna open the can for you. I'm gonna open it and then I'm going to pour it into a bowl. Can I do that?
Absolutely. So while she's opening the can and pouring it into a bowl,
I'm
let's
gonna
look
pour
at.
it into a bowl in front of you because I want you to see.
Did you
Here's
get
the
the can
bowl.
open yet?
Can is open.
Okay. Okay.
Pouring it into the bowl. Don't want to pour it on my computer, so I got it. So, oh my God, what is that? Is that
That's corn.
applesauce?
No,
It's corn?
that's corn.
Are you sure? This is corn?
That's
But
corn.
the label said applesauce. The label said applesauce. Doesn't it say applesauce?
It says that, yes.
How did we get corn out of the applesauce can?
You know you'll be a hot mess. You come home with some applesauce and open it and some corn be in it.
Right. And so is this the characteristics of an applesauce?
No.
So how do you know that this is not applesauce?
Okay, y'all in the studio audience, answer the questions. Come on. How do you know that that's not really?
How do you know that this is not applesauce?
Because we can see it, and we literally can see that it's corn.
But who told you, and how did you know that this is corn?
Because
and
we're
that
conditioned.
Is not applesauce.
Well, I know you don't want me to answer all the questions, but I think it's because we're conditioned and taught already that that's right. What corn looks like, and that's what applesauce is, a certain texture.
Right.
And
so there's somebody
else said look, smell, and texture.
Right, look, smell, and okay. So this is the texture of applesauce?
No.
Does it look like applesauce?
No.
It certainly doesn't smell like applesauce, but how do you know that this is not applesauce? Because someone that you trusted, that have the authority, told you what applesauce is. That's right? They identified applesauce for you, right?
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And you believed and you trusted. And not only did you do that, you said, okay, it's applesauce. And every time you wanted applesauce, you expected it to look exactly like that person told you.
That's
right. So that's when we talk about labels, and I always get the kids with that. They're like, oh, that is
we jacked everything up.
Same thing about people. I want to use that same analogy about people. There are good labels, right? Mm-hmm. So Facebook users, I don't know who this is. Tell me some good characteristics. Tell me some good labels. Let's talk about it.
Okay, so
because everything has a label, right?
Good labels.
Everything has a label. Everything has identification. Even you have a label. What's your label? What is your label?
Are you talking to me, or are you talking to the studio audience?
Anybody. Okay. What's your label? Personally, what is your label?
Well, people would say I'm nice. I love people, like that kind of label.
What is the one thing that marks, how do I address you? What is
my name, Kim.
That's your main label, right? Mm-hmm. Kim. Your father decided your name is going to be Kim. Well, so Kimberly. That's your first Kimberly. So that was your first label, right? So everything has a label. Every day of our life we talk about labels, right? Mm-hmm. So did anyone identify? Because I'm stalling until I see some good labels.
Okay, some examples of good labels.
Good characteristics. Let's talk, because labels are characteristics. It identifies your character, right?
Yes.
It identifies who you are. This book is called Know Your Worth, right? So labels identify who you are, right? Tell me some good things about you can tell me about yourself, or
I'm tagging some folk here too, so we can get some discussion going in here.
Okay, we got
plenty of stuff to say.
Yeah, so just we got all. I'm Vickie. I go by Vickie. When we get married, we change labels, right? you still have your maiden name, you know, because you grew up as that person, but
That's
now
right.
you evolve to, if you know, if you marry, you evolve, now you become a part of that name or
That's
that
right.
identity as well, right? So we are always evolving and using labels.
I love
But
this.
yeah, so whose label are you wearing? So I am Vickie Linnell Evans. You are Kimberly.
I'm Kimberly Jackson Jacobs. So Kimberly, a whole bunch of names.
Right.
The
And
point is,
so that right there identifies who we are from that aspect, right?
right.
Now, earlier I said that we have some labels are character, right?
Yes.
Characters. Label is your character. So name some characteristics. You said you're kind, you're nice. Those are good characteristics, right? Kind,
Absolutely.
nice, fluent, intelligent, smart. I mean, since I don't have no help, I'll just go ahead and right. Smart, intelligent, beautiful, right?
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I think all of those are positive, good labels that people look for in a person. Your heart being good, your willingness to help others, being selfless, being a person that loves other people, that's compassionate, that's passionate about what you do. Like you're passionate. So when
Yeah.
I think of a label for you, I'm thinking of passionate and compassionate.
Right.
Trying to think of other good labels. What are
And
some good
those are
labels?
all good, but what when let's turn the tables. Let's turn the tables. Let's talk about when other people identify you with labels that are not productive or for you. You know, what kind of labels could they be if they say that you're dumb or you're ignorant
Yeah.
or you're ugly? And depending on your self-esteem and your self-worth, you either gonna buy into that or
That's good.
reject it.
Okay.
Correct?
Yes, dumb,
Depending on
ugly.
your level of self-esteem, or if you know of your worth, because once you know your worth, the bad labels you'll reject. But do you know how many people who trusted, that's the word that I want to say,
Mm,
trusted someone who was in authority, who was supposed to value them or teach them the positive things, or you know, but instead, with bad intentions, right, with ill intentions, they made them feel devalued,
wow.
unloved, unimportant, all those uns, discouraged, depressed.
Hmm.
Why? Because something on the inside had not been built up, and they were not totally in tune. Because see, I didn't know my worth until I became acquainted with who my spiritual being was, my
Right.
spiritual father. See, because we in the natural, if we buy into those labels that you just said, those that you just posted up there, if we think we're not intelligent, that we're
Right.
dumb, and someone constantly tells you
Reinforces
that
that.
you're there and reinforces that, guess what you're going to act like, right?
Unintelligent, dumb, whatever the case may be. So,
And do you know that there have been so many people, and we're going to read that in the book, who have been falsely labeled, mislabeled as something, and they were the total opposite. But
mm,
because that person that they respected told them that they were, then they bought into it. God bless you too,
God bless you,
Evangelist.
Evangelist Walton,
Yeah,
Prophetess Walton, actually.
yes. So this is what I want to talk about. Whose label are you wearing? Who can I say it? Please. I know this is not a per se, but it is. Biblical teaching or spirit, but there's a scripture.
Oh yeah, you can
There's
always do
everything
scripture
in
here.
there
For sure.
that is so rich. It says, whose report would you believe?
I will believe the report of the Lord. That's the
Right.
answer.
But the thing that's really powerful here is that that question was asked. Who, so there had to be someone who was struggling
That's right.
with, what do I believe? They may have been walking in confusion, or they may have received a bad report, what we think is a bad report, or misdiagnosed and say you're not gonna make it and you're not gonna be here
Right.
and you got this. How many people have been mislabeled like this can here? Inside of it supposed to have been applesauce, but it had corn in it. How
Yeah.
many? How many? Now, let me tell you something. So the can is right, right?
Right.
The
And it's
contents was
supposed to be
wrong,
right.
right? One or the other is wrong,
Something's
right?
wrong.
Either the can is wrong or the content is wrong.
Right.
So I say that to say this: we have been conditioned in a society that have told us, or by certain standards made us feel that if we don't comply with certain things, or if we don't look a certain way, if we don't act a certain way, then there's something wrong with us.
Right. Yeah, that's
Am I
what we've been
right?
taught. Yeah, that's exactly what we've been taught.
And
And so a
right,
lot of
and when
times
you
people,
right. And when even when we talk about especially women and standards of beauty, as okay, so I remember back in the day, there was a song that came out that described what a woman's figure should be. 36, 24, 36, So we like, okay, if we try to fit into those standards. We'll do anything to fit into those standards. A standard that has been created by someone else's preferences,
right.
by someone else who,
Brick house, somebody said. Make
right,
sure you type your
right,
name, Face.
exactly. That's the song.
Make sure you type your name, whoever that is, in the private group.
Exactly. 36, 24, 36. So here go all of us ladies. We just trying to get 36, 20. We measuring ourselves to see, but how does that, so you're telling me that if you're not built that way, that you're substandard. That's the
No.
message that sends. But is it truth?
That's
No.
good.
Is
It's
it
not true
truth?
at all. You could still be the most valuable person with lots to offer, but because you don't fit in that certain standard, then you're being judged.
And then
Hey, Carrie Ann.
there are people who have that, though they fit in those standards, but it still doesn't make them happy. It doesn't fulfill them. It doesn't define their worth. It doesn't make them feel like they're, you know, we're studying at church, at our Bible study, we're studying Rachel and Leah.
Ah,
That's a perfect example of that.
perfect example, right?
Perfect example. She had it all. Rachel was pretty, beautiful, and
Leah was
all of that.
she was not that pleasant to look upon, but
Right. And then when it came to the childbearing phases of her, she could not produce. It
right.
caused her self-esteem to really go down.
No, right.
It plummeted. So it's important that you understand that no man, no woman, somebody wrote it today. No man, no woman is better than you. I wrote it today too. I
That's right.
said, I believe that I am the best thing that God created. And if you don't feel that way about yourself, honey, you need to come over. Let me talk to you about self-esteem.
Yeah, make sure you reach out to Vickie L. Evans, and she is touchable and approachable. So you can reach her at VickieLEvans.com or email her at VickieLEvans@gmail.com. So make sure you do that, and she will work with you for sure.
All right, let's go to the book.
Okay,
let's
let's do it.
let's go to the book. So I think I set that stage pretty
I
well.
think that was a beautiful example.
Right.
So, whose label are you wearing is the chapter that we're talking from. If you
And
have the
we're
book, it's on
on
page 86. So,
86.
and if you don't have the book, let me show you while she's going to that page. You can go to VickieLEvans.com and get a copy. It'll be an autographed copy that you would get of the book, Know Your Worth. And she's one of our Mother Dreamer members. So if you all don't know what I'm talking about, make sure you go and learn more about our Mother Dreamer movement. We have a general Facebook page under Mother Dreamer Movement. And if you'd like to join the private group, you can go to motherdreamer.com/join, and we'll invite you into that private community. Okay, go ahead, Vickie.
Okay, so I want to start with the example that's on the bottom of that page, of page 87. Um, I'm going to talk about my former pastor. So it starts off, said, sadly enough, on page 87.
Yes.
Okay, it says, sadly enough, there are many people walking around unhappy and unfulfilled because someone has wrongfully categorized them or marked them with the wrong labels. My former pastor, Bishop Eugene Reeves, shared with our congregation his childhood experience of how he was labeled as a slow or challenged learner in grade school, and how the teachers and the counselors said that he would never be able to obtain a normal education.
Wow.
Normal, that's the word they use. But thanks to a Sunday school teacher, someone who reinforced him, someone who gave him, let him understand who made him,
Yes.
who created him, and that there is no condemnation. I mean, you were fearfully and wonderfully made. All of those things, and affirmed him. Right?
Good.
We all need someone to affirm us. There's enough in this world to make us feel there's all around us there's negative energy.
That's right.
When we look at the television, there's negative energy. When we look at the newspaper, there's negative energy. But it's so important that we have people in our lives to affirm us. So that's what happened to him. A Sunday school teacher who declared that he could do all things through Christ. A spark of confidence was ignited within him to excel beyond his imposed limitations.
That's good.
Not only did he receive a normal education, right? Normal. Sometimes the way we define things is based on someone else's perception. What is normal to
What is
you?
normal? Right.
Yes. Not only did he receive a normal education, he surpassed it by obtaining an associate of applied science in computer science, a bachelor of arts in biblical studies, a bachelor of all these degrees, a bachelor of science in business administration. What's abnormal about all of this?
Well, I was going to say, actually, he's abnormal in a great way, because at the end of the day, here he is excelling beyond what so-called normal society was supposed to be able to do.
Exceptional. It seems like he's exceptional.
Right. Extraordinary.
Right. A master's of all these degrees he had. That's the point I'm trying to say.
And a doctorate in divinity.
A doctorate of divinity. That goes to show you that not all labels are accurate.
That's right.
And if you buy into it, and it's your choice. And I'm not saying that things don't happen, because in order for me to tell you this, I bought into low self-esteem for many years.
Right.
Because I was told for many years those things that made me believe. I always give the example every time I'm over here that somebody had to tell me I was ugly. And so I would constantly, I would kind of reaffirm what they were saying. I would always tell myself that I was ugly. I would look in the mirror. In other words, I act or I live my life like I was ugly.
Based on
And
what somebody else said.
based on what somebody else told me,
Hmm.
right? So my question to you is, once again, first of all, I want the same question. Whose report are you going to believe? Are
And
you
that's,
going to
I was going to
go
tell them
ahead?
that scripture is Isaiah 53, 1-6 is where that's found at. Just go ahead.
So I wrote this poem in here. I'm going to go straight to that poem because if you think about it, misappropriate or misinterpreted labels is basically judgment.
That's right.
It's judgment, okay? And so I write in here, it says Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once had a dream that his children would not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. And so I wrote this poem called Don't Judge Me. Don't judge me by the color of my skin, but judge me by my character I have within. Don't judge me by my cultural dialect, but judge me by my insight and intellect. Don't judge me by my physical attributes, but judge me by my charitable contributes. Please don't label me incorrectly. Spend a moment to get to know me unconditionally.
I
Can
love
I
that.
thank you? Can I tell you about an experience I had at the conference though? And I'm
Absolutely.
not trying to say this to um, to discriminate or to talk about anyone else's belief. I'm just going to tell you about me. Just like this book is
Right.
about me, what I'm about to express is about me. So I made a decision that whether it's conferences, Zoom, whatever, I don't want to talk about or be identified by pronouns. I just
Okay.
don't. Okay. So at the conference, they asked us to identify, to introduce ourselves and then tell our pronouns. So I stood up and I said, my name is Vickie Evans. I don't really identify by the system. I called it a system, the pronouns, because I know who I am. And if you are in a conversation with me for 5 minutes, you'll know who I am. My
Right.
name speaks for me. My name speaks for me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel that way, and others may disagree because I do. I know who I am. I don't have to. I understand that it's for others to, so you would know how to address them. Someone
Right.
explained that, but I don't have that issue. I just don't. You know,
I
I'm
agree. Who
I
cares?
am Vickie L. Evans. That's how you address me, and so I don't
Oh,
have that
oh,
issue.
like if you were going to be labeled as Doctor or Mrs. or what, is that what you're saying?
No, the new thing now, even if you're on a conference call, because we do have different genetic identities in this society.
Oh, like I,
Um,
me, we, they,
no,
all.
it's like, so if you are LB, and you
Right. I know
don't,
what you're saying.
so
That's,
you
I'm
go
saying
by
the same thing because it's like
yeah,
they and
right.
we and us and I don't know.
He, are you, do you want to be dressed as he or how, I'm like, I want to be addressed as Vickie. That's how I want to be addressed, Vickie. I don't think that needs to be a part of my labeling
Right. I understand.
officially. So I don't do it. So I'm just saying, sometimes you have to stand along because the system has been provided. Yeah, we all have,
So
so I
many
think
different labels.
so different many. So yeah, right now I'm acting in a role. We could call it a role. We got so many different roles, right?
Sure.
Right now,
Right.
I'm being Vickie the
Yeah.
author. I'm Vickie the mother. I'm Vickie the. This weekend, I operated as Vickie the producer, playwright. We have
Actress.
different roles,
Right.
right? But the important point I want to make here: know your role. I'm not trying to be Kim, the talk show person, because that's not my label. That's not my role. You know who you are, and don't let anyone, and I'm saying this from a negative perspective, put negative labels on you that don't fit you. And okay, I don't know if I should bring this up.
Yeah, feel
And
free.
but stay in your calling. So the hot topic this week is started on Sunday night because I guess Patti LaBelle sing Tina Turner
Right.
songs, got the words, and did all that stuff. Okay, so I said, well, everybody's, oh, she okay. Well, first of all, that's not, if that's not my genre of music, I'm not gonna do that. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say I'm not, I'm sorry, I'm not available to do that. I'm not available to this is not what I do, you know.
Right,
Uh
but see, but if she's trying to pay tribute and honor to the person, you know what I'm saying? She's trying to honor the person that maybe she had some level of respect or adoration for. If somebody flops or flunders or does something in a situation, because that's like you say, that's not even what they normally do. That's not their sector or their sphere of influence. To me, doesn't mean that that should be how they are put out in the atmosphere, that this is indicative of who this person is. Like when Oprah fell that one time, I was like, how dare people be joking Oprah, she fell. That, do you know
Yeah,
how,
I mean, people are cruel. People, that this goes along with what we're talking about. People will label you. They're quick to see your failures or your weaknesses or your faults, and they will label you as that. You may have done something great 99 times
right,
and messed up one, and they will remember that one. One case in point. I mean, I'm talking about some stuff way out here today, but case in point, and I absolutely love him. So y'all can hit me if you want to.
right. And
But
now these are her personal views, and we put in
right,
there many times, the views expressed and not that of the show is our own individual views, y'all. Okay, go ahead.
right. Case in point. So this guy was a very good quarterback. Young, he was, his stats were great, just doing great things. Oh my God, he was riding high. One thing that he did destroyed his whole career. And even when he went, he did the time. He paid for the crime, but still that one thing kept following him. In fact, that one thing kept following him. He was supposed to do a speech in this state, North Carolina, and they all picketed, even though he has paid for that. He went, he was imprisoned, he did all of that, but still that one thing. Now all the good that he's done, all the stats, all the other things that everybody, almost like Christ, oh yeah, and one week they were saying, "Ooh, Hosanna, Hosanna," next week, "Crucify him,
Crucify him, crucify him. Like, really?
so my point to all of this, and I got, I read a little bit from the book, is that know your worth, know who you are, know who you've been created to be.
That's right.
Right. No, don't let anyone label you falsely. And once you know your worth, let me tell you a saying I absolutely like. I think I saw it on Pinterest.
So glad
Once
to have you.
you know your worth, you will never take discounts again,
That's right.
because you're like, I'm sorry, that's not for me.
That is
I'm Yeah,
not
that's not for me. That's not who I am. When people remind me of my past, guess what I say? That's not who I am.
That's the past. That's nothing
That's
to
the
do with
past.
who I am.
I can truly say that was the old Vickie. That's not who I
Right.
am. I've evolved from that. I've learned from that. I've matured from that. So whose label are you going to wear? Whose report are you going to believe? Who who are you? Do you know who you are?
Mm.
Do you know your worth? What are you called to be? What are you called to do? And never let anyone degrade you or put you down or make you feel that you're less than any person on this earth. Every person has value.
Every single person has value. All of us. Nobody's better than anybody else. We may be having better circumstances or situations that make it appear like, oh, well, they have some great things happening in their lives, but we don't know what people go through in life. And even those that may not be going through something and they really are having a luxurious experience still doesn't mean that they're better than you or me or that I'm better than them. So I agree that we all have level playing field, but we have different circumstances and situations that make it appear that we're better off because of those.
And, you know, the thing is to learn, to grow, to mature. Because if you had known me back maybe about 30 years ago, you would know this Vickie. That this Vickie is different. You know, there are some people who probably know some things about me back then who like, well, yeah, you know, I know who else she used to be. But that's not that Vickie. And you cannot hold people captive by their past.
That's right.
It's not, because guess what? We all have a past,
All of
and
us.
I'm sure you have some things that are in your closet that you might not want folks to see either.
That's right.
So be free. I have this scripture here. I want to read this scripture
Please do.
before we close because I think it's important that we emphasize this
And you all,
last.
please share any questions or comments or thoughts that you have in the audience as well, because this is a book club discussion while she's looking for that scripture there. It's a book club discussion, and we're talking about knowing your worth, how to know your worth and overcome the dragon of low self-esteem. You can get your autographed copy at VickieLEvans.com, or you can also email her, VickieLEvans@gmail.com, and she will sign a copy and get it to you for a very reasonable price. And if you are interested in being a mother dreamer, that's a woman that is a mom, you may have put some of your goals and dreams on the back burner while you've been raising your children. Well, we're encouraging you to dust them off and become a part of the Mother Dreamer movement. motherdreamer.com/join, and you can become a part of that. You can also follow our Facebook page, which is a general public page, right on Facebook under Mother Dreamer Movement.
All right. It's Galatians 5:1.
Galatians 5. And what version are you reading?
Let's see.
King James or
King James.
King James version. Let me pull that up for you. I'm going to pull that right up here. We'll read it, have it on the screen together. Okay.
It's important, this last statement I want to say, that you be free. Let no one hold you in bondage. And so the scripture says, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
It says, stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Christ have made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. Labels improperly applied is bondage. It's a yoke. It holds you captive. So you don't want that. You are free. Be free. Stay free. And yeah, you're gonna have ups, you're gonna have downs, you're gonna have what that song. Sometime I'm up, sometime I'm down, sometime I'm level to the ground. You're
To the
gonna have
ground.
moments, but you remain free. You know, you are free. You are not enslaved. You are not in bondage. And who the Son has set free, what? Is
It's
free
free
indeed.
indeed. Yes.
Yeah. So stay that way. Don't let anyone take you there. I don't let not one. So my weakness was being ugly. That was my label. That someone, I don't let anyone put that label on me. I am beautiful.
I'm glad you said what you feel your label was. And one thing that I think was like a label for me anyway is that sometimes people will like take my niceness or my kindness for granted, right? And so
Yeah.
I've learned how to be able to say, okay, Kim, just because you like people and you love God's people does not mean that you have to subject yourself to any old thing. So I still have to know my worth and take a stand to say no. That's opposite of who I am and what I'm willing to accept in my life, which is hard for me to do that actually, because I want to accept pretty much a lot of stuff from people, you know?
Right. And I know this example that I gave is just very simple and basic, but it really is important. If you know your apples, don't let anyone label you as corn, or vice versa. If you know you corn, don't let anyone label you as an apple. You know who you are. Be who you are. And let me just say this. Here's my other can. See this can here? It's
I'm gonna
green
put that
beans.
one over. Wait a minute. Okay.
Okay, so this is lima beans. No matter how I tried, I was trying hard to take this label off and I couldn't get it off. It's
Huh.
so firm, it's firmly planted on here. It's so strong. No matter what, I could not get this label off. That's what you need to understand. Don't let nobody take your label off. Be so firmly implanted who you are. Firmly planted in who you are, that nothing, no matter how they try to force, no matter how they try to pull, no matter what, your label, your character, your integrity, all of that stays intact.
I love that, Vickie, because what you're saying is so relevant to what a lot of people. I can only speak for myself when I'm dealing with situations. I'm like, no, I believe God wants me to handle it this way, and I believe I'm supposed to be dealing with this situation in this manner, even though it may not look like it's the most appropriate, or how do I explain it?
I get what you're saying.
It's not the most popular thing to
You can
do.
say
It's just,
yes.
huh?
I I get what you're saying.
But I know that it's the right thing to do. So it's like, okay,
Right.
just be who God created me to be. Don't worry about anything else. Just be true to who you say God has in developed you to be,
Right.
and just act in that manner. Is that a good point that do you understand what I'm saying? I
Yes.
already know it's a good point
There, I
because it's
know
my point.
exactly
It's
what
my
you're
real
saying.
point.
Because sometimes we feel like we have to go with the majority,
That's
because yeah, we think we have to go with the majority because the majority says this is how it should go, and you be saying no, it's okay to stand alone. As you said, it's okay to stand in your own truth. I have no problem with it. Just like, and I that's why I gave that example about being in that room. And then once I said, no, I don't go by that. Then somebody else said, I don't really go by it either. But they didn't have the courage to say that
to say it first.
until, right, right. So you got to stand in your truth, in your own truth. Who whose label are you wearing? Who did God create you to be? Last thing, okay. So I used to try to be, especially in church, oh, I want to speak like this person, and I want to be like this person. I did. I used to try to, oh, I want to be like this person. Oh, she knows she can do this. I wish I want to do it like that. And I'm serious. I had a conversation. God told me, listen, I created you to be Vickie. And I have no problem being Vickie. What? Because I have no problem. Ain't nobody else can be Vickie but me, and nobody can beat me being Vickie. So if that's the choice that I have, nobody can beat me being Vickie. Why do I want to be anybody else?
Just be the best you God
Just
created you
be
to
the
be.
best you,
Let's
right?
see these comments right quick too. Great analogy, Vickie. It takes daily focus. This is Carrie Ann typing that. She said it takes daily focus to embrace your value. And my mom is on. She says, stand in your truth.
Even Miss Ella, if you have to stand by yourself, because a lot of people feel that majority rules. That's what they say, right? but not necessarily. Majority can be wrong too.
That's right, Vickie. Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Stand in your truth. Stand on who God has created.
Oh,
Hey,
it's
Pamela.
Pamela Lewing. Okay, Carrie Ann was
Stand in
earlier.
who God has created you to be. God created this woman to be the powerhouse,
Yes,
right?
she is.
That's her thing. Nobody can be that pink powerhouse,
The
life
pink
coach.
slip.
Nobody can beat her being Pamela.
That's right.
Nobody. Because that's who she was created to be.
And
And
I
no
look,
matter how you try, you can't be like her.
nope.
You can't,
And
you
that's why
know.
we should celebrate each other because that's why I look back because I have her books too. So all of her books and her actual journal for women and the pink slip and how she transitioned from her
Right.
corporate job and being able to go into motivational speaking and coaching, Coach P. It's so many wonderful things that each of us have gifts and talents that we could celebrate each other. There's enough room in this world for all of us to utilize the worth and the value that God gave us. So
And me pulling you down or trying to, dim your light doesn't make mine shine brighter. It
yeah.
does not. Me trying to, I don't know who she thinks she is. No, it doesn't make you.
I have nothing can dim the light that shines bright within.
Right. So shine. Let your label shine. The stars are not up there competing with each other. Which one of us gonna be in front? They just position themselves and shine bright. And when we look up there, we like, oh my God, it's beautiful, right?
That's right. Hey,
Because they're
Ernetta.
in their position and they know their place.
That's
Know
right.
your worth. Listen, God would not he would have not created you. He would not have sent you to this earth if you were not needed.
That's right. And if you are like,
Everything about you is needed. You are a hot commodity.
you
You are needed.
are, and you're so needed. Ernetta Caldwell is a reinvent yourself specialist, and this is a woman that started reinvented by her academy. And so she's on. These are people, as you all are even watching the replay, make sure you connect with some of these people. She has a membership program, Reinvented by Her Academy, how to reinvent yourself as a woman as you're going through maybe divorce and you're trying to figure out how to reestablish yourself. Definitely check out Ernetta Caldwell. And so it's some wonderful women tuning into this. So thank you all. Go ahead.
And I don't know who's on here, but let me tell you something. There are a group of people who are waiting for you.
You better believe it.
They're waiting for your talent. They're waiting for your words. They're waiting for your gifts. Walk in your purpose. That's what a label is.
That's right.
Walk in your label. Who are you? Do you know who you are? The most important discovery of your life
That's right.
is to know who you are. The most important, because once you know who you are, you're going to fulfill your destiny, your purpose. You ain't going to let anyone take you off course. Oh no, you ain't supposed to be doing that. You
Don't
like,
tell me. I know
you
what
can't
God
tell
has
me.
for
I
me.
know what I'm supposed to do. I know I'm a playwright.
That's
I
right.
know
You're a
that.
great one on top of that.
I know I'm a writer. I know I'm an encourager. I know the gift that God has put inside of me.
Yes.
I know I was sent to young girls and young women and women who don't know their value, who have been stomped on and dumped on and told that they wasn't important and told that they wasn't pretty. I know who I'm called to.
That's
I
right.
know my purpose. I
Well,
know my
every one of us have a purpose, each of us, and we are responsible for salting this earth. That's why you saw me put this comment up here. If you're interested in actually learning how to start your own show from scratch, because each of us can have a show. You don't have to be like, oh, well, she has a show, so I shouldn't have a show. All you are assigned to a specific category of people, and they won't even become better until they experience or encounter you. So by you knowing your worth and the value that you bring to the world, then we don't get to miss out because you're doing exactly what God purposed for you to do. So make sure y'all visit kimjacobsconsulting.com and learn more about it. Okay, tell us
Casey,
tell us
hold
your
on.
book.
Let me address her. Casey, you say I'm standing firm.
Let me see.
Yes.
Casey.
Yes, that's my cousin.
Hey, Casey, King. I'm standing firm. I'm proud
Yes.
of you.
Listen, the scripture says, like a tree planted by the rivers of water, well, right? You got to stand firm. Don't be moved. Don't, listen, there are going to be times in Isaiah 43, that's my favorite chapter, where you're going to pass through the water and it feels like you're going to drown, but you're not.
You're not.
And there are going to be times you're going to go through some fiery situation that seem like it's about to take you out, right? Mm-hmm. But it said you will not be burned. We have to learn to stand on the word and know that there is life, there is power within. Whose label are you wearing? I know I know who my God is, my King, my Father. I know who I belong to. And you got to know the same thing. Whose report are you going to believe? Are you going to believe the enemy who's always throwing doubt and obstacles? He comes like a roaring lion, but he don't have
a roaring lion. He's
not
right, really.
Right. He has no teeth.
Right. The point is,
I always say that. He has no teeth. He has, oh, I'm coming, but come on. It may sting you, but it's not going to take you out. That's okay, right. Take that punch, but you counter it with a right. Right. Fight. And in some cases you don't have to do that because it says resist this devil and he'll flee.
And he'll flee. And when you've done all that you know to do, you can still stand in your belief and knowing that Christ, he has your back and he's going to protect you through the situation.
So before we go, every person that's on here, please, let me just hear you say, I shall not be moved. Type it in the comments.
Type it here. I shall not be moved. Everybody type that in the comments section.
I'm going to sit here because I want to see it.
Oh, right. We're going to sit here. I am standing firm. I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. A step for being able to overcome anything is to be able to get it out into the atmosphere and to be able to acknowledge it. That I shall not
see it. I shall not be moved. There you go.
I shall not.
There you go. There you go.
Yes. Ernetta, yes. I see you.
Yes.
Facebook user Pamela, I see you. Carrie Ann, I see you. I shall not be moved. Casey Ann, I see all of you all. I see you, Mom. I see you saying, I shall not be moved.
Woo! So that's my word for you. I shall not be moved. Whose label are you wearing? I am a child of the Most High God, and that's whose label I'm wearing. I know my purpose. I know my value. I know who I am. I know what I'm called to be. And I hope that you are too. Know your worth. This discussion, this whole month is about knowing your worth, knowing who you are, overcoming low self-esteem. Keep climbing, keep moving up. Don't come down. Don't. Keep climbing. Be like Nehemiah. I will not come off of this wall.
I'm not coming off of this wall.
I'm not coming down until this wall is fully built.
And it didn't matter how many years it took because he knew exactly what his assignment was. And all of the other people that came all of those times throughout the time, it wasn't for them. It was for him. So we have to know when God told us something to do, to be steadfast to, and just hold your peace and let the Lord fight your battles. He got you.
Say that one more time, because he knew what?
He knew the assignment. He knew that it was his assignment.
We finished. That's the last word.
Yeah.
Know your assignment.
That's right.
Know your purpose. I shall not be moved.
And that's
Thank you.
Thank you all for being a part of this evening's discussion. When we come back, make sure you all tag some of your friends and even share this broadcast, this discussion with some people that you know would benefit from learning about knowing their worth. We all have girlfriends, friends, people that we're like, you know what, I really wish I could just embed in you this. Or they may be saying, Kim, I wish I can embed in you this. Well, guess what? This is a blueprint. Know your worth. Go through, take notes, and really apply this to your life. Go ahead, Vickie, share that analogy one more
If
time.
you know that you are applesauce,
But you
simple
know what?
analogy.
Slide back over for a second because some people joined after you did that analogy. So I want you to just real briefly go through it one more time because people may not know that just came on.
Okay, I'm gonna say it like this. So inside of this can, so we had a can and it said applesauce. This says applesauce, right?
Yes.
So you know that this is applesauce. But when I opened it, it was corn in it, right? Corn was in the can. So that's why I said, if you know that you're applesauce, if you know that you are a powerhouse coach, if you know that you're being called to ministry, if you know that you're an evangelist, don't let nobody tell you that you're corn when you know you're applesauce. Mm-mm. Don't let nobody tell you that you're not called to be whatever God has designed you to be. I was designed to be applesauce. I'm sweet. I have the characteristics of this applesauce. You know, I'm not corn. Now, I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with corn.
Oh no, I love some corn now. So we
Corn is
definitely
good, but it don't belong in an applesauce can.
no. Oh no. I'll be hot if I get home thinking I done bought some applesauce and I open it and it's a can of corn. That is the wrong labeling. So that's the point.
Wrong label. Don't let anyone put wrong labels on you. That's the crust, the foundation of this discussion. Don't let other folks, because they're just people too.
That's
and
right.
It's just based on their perception. They are judging you, labeling you according to their own perceptions. And we call that judgment. They're judging you.
That's right.
So know who you are, know who you're called to be, and walk in it. I tell you, confidently walk in your purpose.
I love this.
Thank you.
Evangelist Clara Walton and prophetess Clara Walton. She's actually the person that prophesied to me in front of an entire congregation of churchgoers, our church members at the time. She was saying, I was
that.
pregnant. I had 4 sons. I want to give tribute to her. I had 4 sons at the time. And she called me to the front of the church and told me that I was going to have the spirit of Deborah growing in my womb. And I was like, mm-mm. I ain't gonna have the spirit of nothing because I'm not even having any more children. I'm done type of thing. Do you know I was actually 3 days pregnant when she prophesied that to me? I guess already pregnant, and she's got louder and said, if I be a woman of God and I know that I am, in this amount of time, you're going to give birth to the spirit of Deborah that's growing in your womb. Wow. And the daughter I have now, Jayla Jacobs, is definitely the spirit of Deborah. She is a woman that does not want any soul to be left. She's a young woman that does not want any soul to be left behind.
Can you please read her statement? I absolutely know who I am. I am on the wall and I will not come down. I will not compromise to be recognized. I love that.
And she never has.
I will not compromise to be recognized. Please don't compromise to be recognized. It sets you up for failure. And it is so. So thank you, guys.
All right, everybody.
What are you wearing? I hope you come back. I don't know if we're on next. Oh, I'm out of town next week, but I hope you enjoyed this discussion. All the things that we're talking about is in my book, Know Your Worth, Overcoming the Dragon of Low Self-Esteem. I wrote this a couple of years ago, but it's on the Amazon.com bestseller list. in
But
3
we
different
want you to get a
categories.
copy from VickieLEvans.com because that's going to be an autographed copy. And she
Yes.
has a box waiting for you all to have them shipped to you. People have already been, I don't know how many you still have left because I know people have been purchasing them and getting their autographed copies. If you're in the local Charlotte area, she's also been meeting different people to give them an autographed copy as well. But it's VickieLEvans.com. Go get your copy tonight, or visit or email her VickieLEvans@gmail.com. But make sure you have this in your library. It's a great book and one that's going to change your life. All right.
All right.
Vickie, thank you.
Thank you.
And y'all make
My
sure you join the
pleasure.
Mother Dreamer movement, motherdreamer.com/join. And you'll be in a group with like minded women that are dusting those dreams off and making those dreams become a reality as they raise their productive children. So you can do both and not have to pick or choose. All right, everybody. Thank you guys. Thank you for allowing me to host you here with the Mother Dreamer movement. And have a great night, everybody. We love y'all. Bye
Love
bye.
you. Thank you.